Please welcome Ottmar Edenhofer, Mercator Research Institute on Global Commons and Climate Change.
Ladies and gentlemen, and almost 5 years ago, when we calculated within the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the global carbon budget, which is consistent with the 2-degree target, we calculated roughly 1,000 gigatons CO2. Over the last 5 years, we have already exhausted and used 200 gigatons. So basically, the remaining carbon budget is roughly 800 gigatons. If you compare this number with the existing coal-fired plants and add to them the investments which are planned over the next 2 decades, the carbon budget which will be used over the economic lifetime of these coal-fired plants adds up to roughly 400 gigatons. This basically means we will use almost half of the remaining carbon budget just for coal. This simple calculation shows you that wrong investment decisions and inappropriate investment decisions will put our economies at a high carbon pathway and might create a significant lock-in, which does not allow many countries in the future to reduce their emissions in a cost-effective way. So therefore, it is essential that we have a carbon pricing scheme. Why? First, a carbon pricing scheme creates the right incentives for carbon-free technologies and also for a carbon-free infrastructure. And these incentives are absolutely necessary because the urgency of timing does not come primarily from the climate system, it comes from the ongoing investment cycle, and therefore it is necessary that we have the right incentives in place. Secondly, carbon pricing is necessary because it penalizes the use of fossil fuels according to the carbon content. And it is one of the most important lessons that carbon pricing is essential. Why? Because the carbon pricing scheme allows to decouple economic growth from emissions. And the third aspect is carbon pricing creates revenues which allows reducing distortive taxes and in particular allows to invest in necessary infrastructure for energy, infrastructure for transport, and so on. And this infrastructure investments allows to reduce poverty and to increase the competitiveness of our economies. And therefore, it is the next challenge to link the carbon pricing with the financial system, and this is the task of Celine.